Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're exploring a ghost island off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan. We'll uncover the story of its creation and the lives that flourished within its concrete walls. Hashima Island, also known as Gunkanjima, meaning Battleship Island, is located in the Ariake Sea between Nagasaki and the Korean Peninsula. It served as a hub for the coal mining industry during the late 19th and 20th centuries. The island's unique topography and man-made structures give it the appearance of a floating battleship, which contributes to its intriguing nickname. Throughout its history, Hashima Island has undergone significant transformations from being a bustling industrial center to a haunting ghost town. In the 1950s, Hashima reached the peak of its population, housing over 5,000 residents in its tightly packed neighborhoods. However, the decline of the coal mining industry in the latter half of the 20th century led to the abandonment of the island. Today, visitors can explore the eerie remnants of Hashima's former glory and witness firsthand the impact of depopulation on a once vibrant community. The story of Hashima dates back to 1887 when Mitsubishi bought the island from the Nagasaki prefecture government. At that time, it was just a small, uninhabited rock, but Mitsubishi saw its potential as a site for a deep-sea coal mine. With the rapid industrialization of Japan in the early 20th century, coal became an essential resource for powering factories, ships, and homes. Mitsubishi invested heavily in building infrastructure on the island, including housing for miners and their families, as well as facilities such as schools, hospitals, and shops. Over the next few decades, Hashima transformed into a thriving community. The dense population and confined space created a strong sense of community among the residents. The island was divided into 3 distinct sections, each with its own unique character. The upper level housed the administrative offices, warehouses, and recreational facilities. The middle level was dedicated to residential areas where rows of identical concrete apartment blocks stood side by side, providing cramped but functional homes for the miners and their families. The lower level consisted of the coal mine shafts and support buildings. Working conditions in the mines were harsh and dangerous, with miners facing long hours, low wages, and constant risk of injury or death. Despite these challenges, many families were drawn to Hashima in search of a better life. By the 1950s, the island had reached its peak population of over 5,000 residents. For many, living on Hashima was their only home. They knew nothing else and saw it as their community. But this lifestyle came at a cost. The cramped living conditions and lack of privacy led to social tensions, while the dangerous working conditions in the mines resulted in numerous accidents and deaths. As the demand for coal declined, the future of Hashima and its residents became uncertain. In the latter half of the 20th century, Japan's energy needs shifted away from coal towards other sources such as oil and nuclear power. This shift resulted in a decline in coal mining across the country, including on Hashima Island. By the 1970s, the coal mine on Hashima had become unprofitable, and Mitsubishi made the decision to close it down. The closure of the mine led to a rapid exodus of residents who abandoned their homes and sought new lives elsewhere. Within a few months, Hashima went from being a bustling community to a ghost town. The streets were deserted, houses were left empty, and the island fell silent. Today, Hashima serves as a haunting reminder of Japan's rapid industrialization and the human cost that came with it. The island's unique history has made it a popular destination for photographers, filmmakers, and urban explorers seeking to witness the eerie remnants of a bygone era. However, access to the island is restricted due to safety concerns, caused by the dilapidated state of the buildings and the risk of collapse. While Hashima may appear desolate today, it wasn't always this way. During its heyday in the 1950s, the island was a thriving community filled with life and activity. Residents had access to basic amenities such as electricity, water, and waste disposal, as well as recreational facilities such as parks and playgrounds. The island was also home to a variety of shops and businesses, including restaurants, barbershops, and even a cinema. Life on Hashima was not without its challenges, however. The dense population and cramped living conditions led to social tensions, while the dangerous working conditions in the mines resulted in numerous accidents and deaths. Nevertheless, many residents forged a strong sense of community and camaraderie, and the island remained relatively peaceful until its eventual abandonment. When the coal mine closed and the residents left, Hashima was transformed into a ghost town. The streets were deserted, houses were left empty, and the island fell silent. Over the years, nature began to reclaim the concrete jungle as plants and trees grew through cracks in the pavement and animals made their homes in the abandoned buildings. Today, Hashima is a haunting reminder of Japan's rapid industrialization and the human costs that came with it. The island's unique history has made it a popular destination for photographers, filmmakers, and urban explorers seeking to witness the eerie remnants of a bygone era. However, access to the island is restricted due to safety concerns caused by the dilapidated state of the buildings and the risk of collapse. Much of Hashima Island's history is shrouded in secrecy, with many records being sealed or destroyed. However, what little information is available paints a grim picture of the harsh realities faced by the miners and their families who lived and worked on the island. One of the most disturbing aspects of Hashima's history is its connection to forced labor. During World War II, it is estimated that thousands of Koreans and Chinese were brought to the island against their will to work in the coal mines under inhumane conditions. These workers were subjected to brutal treatment, including beatings and torture, and many did not survive their time on Hashima. This dark chapter in the island's history was largely ignored until recently, when it was brought back into the global conversation. When Hashima was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2015, many critics argue that Japan failed to acknowledge its forced labor in its application and called for a more comprehensive and honest approach to preserving the island's history. As the island continued to grow throughout the 20th century, the living conditions for its residents became increasingly cramped and unsanitary. The influx of new residents led to the construction of more apartment blocks, but these were often poorly built and lacked adequate ventilation and lighting. Waste disposal was inadequate, and the island's small size meant that noise and air pollution were constant problems. Despite these hardships, the residents of Hashima persevered, and the island continued to thrive until the 1970s, when the coal mine finally closed. After the mine closed, Hashima was effectively abandoned, and the residents fled the island in search of new homes elsewhere. The island's infrastructure quickly fell into disrepair, and the buildings began to crumble. Today, Hashima is a haunting reminder of the island's former glory. The streets are littered with debris, and the buildings are crumbling and overgrown with vegetation. The island has become a popular destination for urban explorers and photographers, looking to capture the island's eerie atmosphere. However, access to the island is strictly limited due to safety concerns. The buildings are unstable, and there is a risk of collapse. The preservation of Hashima Island is a controversial topic, with many arguing that the island should be left untouched to serve as a reminder of the island's dark past. Others argue that the buildings should be restored to preserve the island's cultural heritage. The restoration of Hashima would be a costly and lengthy process. The buildings are in a state of advanced decay, and much of the island's infrastructure has already been lost. Additionally, the environmental impact of restoring the island would need to be carefully considered, as the introduction of new materials and construction methods could have unintended consequences for the island's ecosystem, despite the challenges associated with restoring the island. There are those who argue that it is important to preserve the cultural heritage of Hashima. The island's unique history and architecture provide a tangible link to the island's former residents and the hardships they endured. By restoring the island, we can learn from the past and ensure that such hardships are never repeated. Ultimately, the future of Hashima Island remains uncertain. The island's precarious condition and controversial history make it a difficult property to manage. However, one thing is certain: Hashima's story is an important one that should not be forgotten. The island's legacy is a symbol of Japan's industrial past, and the human cost of progress continues to resonate today. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time to explore the ghost island of Hashima, Japan. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and joining me on my next adventure. Until then, keep exploring and stay curious.